You see, the difference between dreamers and doers isn't the size of their vision, it's their relationship with action. Most people are told to think big, and they imagine companies, movements, and impact. But then, they stop there, they wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity. Thinking big isn't the goal, it's the beginning. It's about asking yourself, why does this matter? When your vision is fueled by a deep purpose, your actions suddenly have meaning. You stop chasing success and start building significance. But here's the truth, every big dream needs a small beginning. The world's greatest companies started in garages, the greatest ideas on napkins, and the greatest leaders with one decision to start where they were, with what they had. When you start small, you remove the pressure of perfection and focus on progress. Every small win compounds into confidence. Every small action turns into momentum, and then act like the rich, not the rich who flaunt, but the rich who think differently. The ones who invest before they spend, the ones who see time as their greatest asset. To act like the rich is to live intentionally, to plan, to learn, to delay gratification, to create before consuming. It's a mindset of growth, not greed. When you think big, you define your vision. When you start small, you build your foundation. When you act like the rich, you sustain your progress. The goal isn't just to make it big, it's to make it meaningful. Because real wealth isn't about having more, it's about becoming more. So, think big but don't wait. Start small but don't stop. Act like the rich, because the richest thing you can own is your mindset. Thinking big begins long before action. It begins with vision, not just a picture of what you want, but a clear understanding of why you want it. Many people dream of success, wealth, or recognition, yet very few stop to question the meaning behind those desires. Vision is the compass that gives direction to every step. Without it, ambition becomes noise. With it, ambition becomes music. When you understand the why, your goals stop being about what you want to achieve and start becoming about who you want to become. A big thinker doesn't think in terms of things, they think in terms of purpose. They ask deeper questions. What change do I want to create? Who will benefit from my actions? How will the world be different because of what I build? This level of clarity separates wishful thinking from purposeful thinking. It's easy to get inspired by success stories, but vision demands reflection. It requires looking inward before moving forward. When you define your purpose, you give your efforts meaning, and meaning fuels endurance. Having a big vision doesn't mean having a fantasy. It means being able to see potential where others see limitations. It means choosing to look at a blank canvas and already seeing the painting. Visionaries are not born different, they train their minds to think differently. They refuse to be confined by circumstances or current resources. They understand that the greatest power lies not in what they have, but in what they can imagine. Thinking big is not about arrogance. It's about belief that the future can be shaped by intentional thought and persistent effort. The power of vision is not in the scale of what you see, but in the clarity of it. A vague dream cannot guide action. Clarity, on the other hand, acts as a filter. It helps you decide what to say yes to and what to decline. It shapes priorities, influences decisions, and directs energy toward what truly matters. When your vision is clear, distractions lose their power. You stop running after everything and start walking purposefully toward something. Every small action becomes a step in alignment with your larger mission. Vision before action also teaches patience. Big thinkers understand that real transformation takes time. They are not in a rush to appear successful. They are focused on becoming impactful. This patience is not passive, it's strategic. It allows them to build a foundation strong enough to carry their ambition. The impatience to act without vision often leads to scattered effort, wasted time, and eventual burnout. Vision creates the discipline to wait for the right time to act and the wisdom to know when to adapt. A powerful vision also attracts people. It gives others something to believe in. Humans are drawn to purpose. They follow leaders who see something beyond the obvious. When you have a clear vision, you inspire trust and ignite collaboration. People don't just join your plan, they join your belief. This is why some ideas grow into movements, because they are rooted in a vision that resonates with shared human values. A clear vision turns I into we. In education, business, or personal growth, the same principle applies. Vision leads, action follows. Students who understand why they study learn differently. Entrepreneurs who know the impact they want to create build differently. Professionals who understand their long-term purpose perform differently. Vision changes behavior because it changes perception. It transforms daily tasks into meaningful contributions toward a bigger picture. There's also a discipline to maintaining vision. The world is full of noise, opinions, doubts, trends, and temptations. Without clarity, it's easy to drift. Vision requires constant renewal. It demands reflection, journaling, silence, and sometimes solitude. The greatest thinkers and leaders protect their vision by nurturing their mind. They read, question, observe, and surround themselves with people who challenge them to see further. Vision thrives where curiosity lives. To think big, you must also think deeply. A vision built on shallow motives won't survive pressure. External goals like fame or fortune fade when difficulty arrives. Internal purpose, service, growth, contribution creates resilience. It keeps you grounded when results are delayed. Big thinkers are not those who dream of success. They are those who can hold on to their vision even when success seems far away. Vision before action creates alignment between who you are and what you do. It prevents the trap of chasing goals that don't fulfill you. Many people achieve success, yet feel empty because they pursued goals that were never truly theirs. A strong vision protects you from that emptiness. It ensures that every effort you make, every risk you take, and every sacrifice you endure moves you towards something that genuinely matters. When you think big with vision, your world expands not because of what you gain, but because of what you give meaning to. Vision before action isn't just a step in success. It is the soul of it. Every great achievement begins with one small, deliberate action. The idea of starting small is often misunderstood. People imagine it means lowering their standards or settling for less. In reality, starting small is not about limitation, it's about strategy. It's about understanding that lasting progress is built, not bought. Big dreams require small beginnings because small steps create the foundation for sustainable growth. Progress is a process of accumulation. Each small effort, repeated consistently, becomes a force of transformation. The human mind loves the idea of giant leaps, overnight success, instant results, dramatic breakthroughs, but real progress is quieter. It happens when you take the next step even when no one is watching. It's the discipline to do one more page, one more call, one more rehearsal. Over time, those small efforts compound, turning ordinary days into extraordinary outcomes. Starting small trains humility. It reminds you that mastery doesn't come from grand gestures, but from daily repetition. Every expert was once a beginner who dared to stay consistent. The greatest musicians started with scales, the best writers with a single page, the most successful entrepreneurs with a single idea and limited means. They didn't wait for the perfect plan or the perfect timing. They started where they were, and progress followed. Waiting for perfect conditions is a form of procrastination disguised as preparation. Small steps break that cycle. The psychology behind small steps is powerful. When goals feel too big, they trigger fear and resistance. The brain perceives massive change as a threat, leading to hesitation. Small, manageable actions bypass that resistance. They signal safety and progress simultaneously. Each completed step releases a sense of accomplishment, motivating you to continue. This is why habits matter more than bursts of effort. They turn ambition into routine, and routine into results. Small steps also build momentum. Momentum is not magic. It's movement sustained over time. Once you start moving, even slowly, it becomes easier to keep going. The The challenge for most people isn't starting, it's continuing. When you set small, achievable milestones, you create checkpoints of success. Each win builds confidence, and confidence fuels consistency. You no longer measure progress by distance to the destination, but by distance from where you began. That shift keeps motivation alive. Starting small also encourages learning. When your actions are manageable, you can observe outcomes, make adjustments, and grow smarter with each attempt. Big leaps often hide mistakes because they move too fast to notice details. Small steps, on the other hand, allow reflection. They create space for feedback. You can refine your methods, strengthen your skills, and improve your mindset without collapsing under pressure. Progress then becomes a journey of continuous improvement rather than a single event. In a world obsessed with speed, starting small might feel slow, but slow growth is often stronger growth. It teaches patience, discipline, and resilience. When you learn to appreciate progress in inches rather than miles, you develop persistence. You stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You learn that consistency beats intensity, that daily effort outweighs occasional brilliance. The tortoise didn't win the race by being fast. It won by being steady. Small beginnings also shape identity. Each small action reinforces who you are becoming. When you show up daily for your goals, even in small ways, you tell your subconscious that you are the kind of person who keeps promises to yourself. This builds integrity and self-trust, which are essential for long-term success. People lose motivation not because their goals are too big, but because they stop believing in their ability to achieve them. Small wins rebuild that belief one step at a time. Small steps are also sustainable. Large, sudden changes often lead to burnout. People push hard for a few weeks, lose energy, and quit. But when you start small with a habit, a schedule, or a single goal, you create a rhythm that can last. You learn to manage your energy instead of exhausting it. Growth that lasts must fit within your life, not fight against it. Sustainability is what turns action into a lifestyle rather than a temporary project. Another strength of starting small is adaptability. The world changes quickly, markets shift, technology evolves, circumstances surprise us. When you move in small increments, you stay flexible. You can pivot, adjust, and respond without losing your direction. Small steps keep you grounded in reality while allowing you to adapt to change. Big leaps often trap people into rigid plans that crumble when conditions shift. Progress in small steps is not about thinking small, it's about thinking smart. It's understanding that a tree grows from a seed, not from a forest overnight. It's realizing that every breakthrough is built on a series of small, sometimes invisible efforts. The skyscraper rises brick by brick, the masterpiece stroke by stroke, the empire decision by decision. Every time you take a small step, you send a message to the future. I'm not waiting for luck, I'm building it. Small actions, when aligned with a big vision, have the power to create extraordinary results. The key is to move even slowly, even imperfectly, because progress, no matter how small, is always greater than standing still. Acting like the rich has nothing to do with wealth in the bank and everything to do with wealth in the mind. True richness begins with a mindset, a way of thinking that values growth, responsibility, and long-term vision over instant gratification. The difference between the rich and the poor is not merely in resources, it lies in perception. While many focus on earning, the rich mindset focuses on creating. It sees opportunities where others see obstacles and invests energy in learning before earning. The rich mindset begins with ownership. It is the belief that you are responsible for your outcomes. People with a scarcity mindset blame external factors, the economy, competition, luck for their circumstances. The rich-minded individual accepts responsibility, understanding that while circumstances may not always be controllable, responses always are. This sense of ownership turns problems into possibilities and setbacks into lessons. It cultivates resilience because responsibility empowers. Another core aspect of the rich mindset is the principle of delayed gratification. The poor mindset seeks comfort now, the rich mindset seeks growth later. Acting like the rich means resisting the temptation to chase immediate pleasure in exchange for lasting progress. It's choosing to invest instead of indulge, to learn instead of distract, to save instead of spend impulsively. This discipline transforms potential into prosperity. Wealth in every form is built by those who understand that patience compounds value. People with a rich mindset also understand the power of time. They see time as their greatest asset, not something to be wasted or traded cheaply. Instead of filling their schedules with busyness, they design their days around priorities. They invest time in growth, reading, thinking, planning, building. The poor mindset spends time reacting. The rich mindset spends time creating. Every decision is measured not by convenience, but by consequence. Time, once gone, cannot be replaced, and those who act like the rich protect it like treasure. The rich mindset also values learning above earning. Money follows skill, and skill follows knowledge. Acting like the rich means being a lifelong learner. It's understanding that education doesn't end with a degree, it continues with curiosity. The rich-minded read, observe, ask, and reflect. They know that the mind is the ultimate investment, and every new idea compounds over time. While others focus on short-term income, they focus on long-term capacity. The richer your mind becomes, the more valuable your contributions to the world. A defining feature of the rich mindset is emotional intelligence. People who act like the rich don't let emotions dictate their decisions. They remain calm under pressure, rational in risk, and strategic in success. They understand that fear and greed are the enemies of progress. When others panic, they analyze. When others rush, they plan. Emotional discipline allows them to stay consistent when circumstances fluctuate. Acting like the rich means mastering yourself before trying to master your environment. Generosity is another mark of the rich mindset. True wealth is not hoarded, it's circulated. Those who think richly understand that value grows when shared. They invest in others through mentorship, collaboration, and contribution. This doesn't mean giving recklessly, it means building ecosystems of growth. The rich mindset views wealth as a tool for impact, not status. Giving creates gratitude, and gratitude attracts more opportunities. When you act like the rich, you focus not on accumulation, but on creation. Risk-taking also defines this mindset, but not in reckless ways. Acting like the rich means understanding that every reward carries risk, yet not every risk is worth taking. The rich-minded study patterns, gather knowledge, and calculate possibilities before acting. They are not fearless, they are prepared. Where the poor mindset avoids all risk out of fear of loss, the rich mindset embraces calculated risk for the chance of growth. It's not about gambling, it's about strategic courage. Acting like the rich also means living with intention. Wealthy thinkers design their lifestyle around purpose, not pressure. They don't chase trends, they build legacies. They understand the difference between appearing rich and being rich. Many spend to look successful. The truly rich invest to stay successful. This subtle difference in behavior determines who sustains wealth and who loses it. Acting like the rich means choosing substance over image and stability over show. Gratitude and perspective further strengthen this mindset. The rich-minded appreciate progress while striving for more. They don't compare their journey to others because they measure success by alignment, not appearance. Gratitude keeps ambition healthy. Without it, pursuit becomes greed. With it, pursuit becomes growth. Acting like the rich means celebrating the process as much as the results. The rich mindset is built on vision. Money without purpose becomes meaningless. Those who act like the rich don't just earn to survive. They earn to create freedom to think, to give, to innovate, to live fully. They use wealth as a resource to amplify their vision, not as a replacement for it. Acting like the rich, therefore, is about thinking expansively, acting responsibly, and living intentionally. It's not about having more, it's about becoming more. When you develop the mindset of the rich, you begin to see wealth everywhere in knowledge, relationships, health, and contribution. Money becomes a reflection, not the source of richness. Acting like the rich means living with awareness, making decisions with purpose, and carrying yourself with discipline. It's the art of managing not just finances, but focus. Because, in the end, the richest people are not those who have the most, they are those who think the deepest, act the wisest, and give the fullest. Success is never built on one grand moment. It is constructed through hundreds of quiet, repeated actions that no one sees. Consistency is the invisible architect of greatness. It transforms effort into excellence and ambition into achievement. Many people start with passion, but only those who stay consistent reach mastery. Talent opens the door, but consistency keeps it open. It is the steady rhythm that turns short-term motivation into long-term transformation. Consistency is more than repetition. It is reliability. It is showing up on the days when it's exciting and on the days when it's exhausting. Most people act when they feel inspired, but consistent individuals act until they feel inspired. They understand that progress doesn't depend on emotion, it depends on discipline. The most successful performers, athletes, thinkers, and entrepreneurs don't wait for motivation. They create it through consistent action. The habit of showing up builds momentum, and momentum sustains success. In the journey toward any goal, enthusiasm is temporary. What carries you forward when excitement fades is commitment. Consistency demands patience because results rarely appear immediately. It's easy to give up when effort doesn't seem to pay off right away. But growth happens in the unseen in the background, where persistence quietly compounds. A seed doesn't sprout the moment it's planted. It grows underground, developing roots before it breaks through the surface. Consistency is that rooting process, invisible but essential. Consistency also breeds trust. In personal growth, in leadership, and in business, trust is built through predictable action. When people can rely on your behavior, your word, or your performance, they follow you more confidently. A consistent person doesn't need to convince others. Their pattern speaks louder than their promises. Inconsistency, on the other hand, creates doubt. It tells others you might not finish what you start. The world remembers not those who started big, but those who stayed steady. Another truth about consistency is that it simplifies complexity. When you commit to a routine, decisions become easier. You don't waste time debating whether to act. You simply act. This structure reduces procrastination and removes the mental friction of choice. Consistency frees creativity because it builds systems. Great artists, scientists, and innovators rely on disciplined schedules, not spontaneous inspiration. The habit of consistency makes excellence repeatable. Consistency also refines skill. Every repetition sharpens precision. The more you practice, the better you understand your craft, your strengths, and your weaknesses. Improvement is rarely dramatic, it's incremental. The difference between good and great is often invisible to others. It's the result of thousands of micro corrections that only consistent practice can produce. The musician perfects timing, the athlete hones technique, the writer develops voice, all through the slow, steady rhythm of repetition. Consistency doesn't mean rigidity. It requires flexibility within commitment. Life changes, circumstances shift, and challenges arise. The consistent individual adapts without abandoning the goal. They adjust methods, not missions. It's not about doing the same thing mindlessly. It's about maintaining direction intentionally. The ability to evolve while staying steady separates those who endure from those who burn out. Consistency isn't stubbornness, it's intelligent persistence. Emotionally, consistency builds confidence. When you keep promises to yourself, you strengthen self-trust. Each time you follow through, your belief in your ability grows. Many people lose confidence not because they fail, but because they stop keeping commitments to themselves. Consistency repairs that self-belief. It reminds you that you are capable of reliability, that you can depend on your own word. Confidence built on consistency is unshakable because it's earned, not imagined. In the context of leadership, consistency inspires others. People don't follow leaders because they are the loudest. They follow them because they are the most dependable. A leader who consistently demonstrates integrity, discipline, and empathy becomes a model of stability in uncertain times. Their consistency creates culture. It teaches teams that excellence isn't a one-time event, it's a daily standard. Legacy begins when consistency becomes contagious. Consistency also determines identity. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are. If you write every day, you become a writer. If you lead every day, you become a leader. If you learn every day, you become wise. Identity is not declared, it is demonstrated. People often wait to feel ready before they act, but consistent action is what makes you ready. Each repetition reinforces your identity and strengthens the narrative you live by. The relationship between consistency and legacy is inseparable. Legacy isn't created by what you do once. It's built by what you do repeatedly over time. The teacher who shows up year after year, shaping young minds. The entrepreneur who endures setbacks yet continues building. The artist who creates through rejection and reinvention. Their legacy exists because they refuse to stop. Consistency is the bridge between the present and eternity. It carries your impact beyond your lifetime. Another aspect of consistency is integrity between words and actions. When what you say aligns with what you do, consistency becomes character. It's easy to make declarations in moments of enthusiasm. It's harder to honor them in moments of difficulty. Those who remain true to their commitments in both triumph and trial leave behind a reputation that speaks long after they're gone. People may forget what you said, but they will remember that you were steady. Consistency turns potential into permanence. Inspiration can spark a beginning, but only consistency completes the journey. Dreams without consistent effort stay dreams. Goals without consistent progress remain plans. Consistency is the difference between wishing for success and working for it. It transforms ordinary routines into extraordinary results. Every great legacy, personal, professional, or cultural, is a story of someone who chose to keep going when others stopped. Consistency creates credibility. Credibility creates influence. Influence creates legacy. It is the quiet force that multiplies effort and magnifies impact. When you act consistently, you don't just build success, you build something that lasts beyond you.